All right, let's get started. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our virtual open house session, Home Away from Home. My name is Jane Yoon, and I am a MICA alum from class of 2016, and I'm also the Assistant Director for the Office of Undergraduate Admissions. This evening, we'll talk about transitioning from your home to your new MICA home. We're going to cover topics like res life, dining options, living in Baltimore, academic advising, and so much more. Then I'm going to introduce you to our student speakers today, which includes students, current students, and a couple of staff members. So again, we're going to focus on resources that are available to you as a MICA student to help your transition to MICA be easier. But before we jump in, I want to first congratulate all the admitted students that we have joined us this evening. Welcome to MICA, and thank you so much for joining us today. Oh, technical difficulties already. All right. So one of the most popular questions I get from prospective students is always, what is the dorm situation like? Founders Green is a MICA residential complex comprised of 5 buildings and a large courtyard. So you can see this beautiful aerial shot of Founders Green. It's specifically for housing first-year students, and the complex includes student apartments and artist studios. It's been designed with the needs for an artist and design student in mind. There's also a grill-style dining facility, an auditorium, a black box theater, laundry facilities, mail center, everything that you would need to have a nice, cozy living space for your first year. And then here, you can see that little tiny yellow arrow. That is where my first year apartment was. I had a really great experience on the 2nd floor, had 3 other roommates, and chose to have the optional single room, just in case if you were curious. So all on-campus housing is apartment style, which is very unique. With 3 or 4 bedroom apartments accommodating 3 to 4 students each. Some rooms are going to be single, some rooms are going to be double. You get to choose. Each apartment has a full kitchen, living room, dining room, and a bathroom. So you don't have to share a bathroom with the entire hallway of folks. In addition to the bedrooms. So you get all of that on top of the bedrooms, all right? So you get, when you walk in, there's a living area, and then down the hall, there are rooms. Apartments come partially furnished and equipped with heating and air conditioning, which is also a big bonus. You'd be surprised how many schools don't offer that. So aside from living spaces, our 4 residential halls also provide 2 black box theaters, a late night grill and cafe, our main dining facility, full service laundry, student exhibition galleries, and also large studio spaces, and so much more. And our Office of Res Life, which one of our students today works for, is excited to welcome you to MICA and help you plan your move to Baltimore. So make sure to complete the housing application for any of you folks that have already been admitted. Make sure you complete the housing application to be matched with roommates and apartment mates that you are compatible with. First-year students are required to live on campus unless granted with an exception. So speak to your admission counselors about that if you are opposed to living on campus. Now, if you're a transfer student, you are not required to live on campus. However, there is limited space available for you if you choose to do so. So transfer students who choose to live on campus should fill out the housing application as soon as possible so that we can secure that spot for you. And the housing application is open now. All right. So, and there are a lot of special accommodations available, especially for our international students that are moving from overseas. So if you're an international student, speak to your admission counselor, Kenny Yi, who has been in touch with you, or Yan Chu Oh, so that you can get those accommodations to help your transition be a little bit easier. All right. So in terms of dining on campus, which is probably the second most common question I get, Meyerhoff Dining Hall is our largest dining hall facility on campus. It's an all-you-can-eat buffet style dining hall, which is pretty common in college life. There's always a ton of options, including sandwiches, pizza, comfort food, a salad bar, vegan offerings, gluten-free offerings, and desserts as well. We also have amazing food spots throughout the campus, such as Cafe Doris, Cafe Nancy, and Glace Grill. Glace Grill is a little bit more of a late night place that you can stop by. That's located inside Founders Green for convenience. And Cafe Doris is a really popular choice for a quick breakfast sandwich or lunch in between classes, espresso drinks, and pastries. And then the Center for Student Engagement is home to more than 30 student organizations, the Student Voice Association, and a variety of programs and activities to keep students involved on campus. So transitioning from high school or home to coming to MICA might be a little bit intimidating because maybe you don't know anyone here yet. A great way to meet someone meet people in general is by finding people with common interests with you. All right. So the Student Engagement Center is honestly the best for that. Students can also find opportunities for involvement and leadership development through such positions as program managers, program assistants, fellowships. There's orientation leader positions and also student organization officers. So if you were really involved in high school, or let's say you weren't, but you want to become more involved, this is where you want to stop by. Okay. And we want you to connect with your peers, right? And we want you to create positive change. There's a lot more to the college experience than the classroom. We want you to find activities that you're passionate about and really, venture outside of your comfort zone to expand your world a little bit to, I don't know, try new things. And if you don't know what you're looking for, I'm sorry, if you don't find what you're looking for, we invite you to create it. Okay. So if you see, excuse me, if you see that we don't have a club or an organization yet that you're interested in, we encourage you to create it. Like most recently, Badminton Club was created. Their first meeting is tomorrow, and it's going to be at Cone Plaza, which is a little grassy field. And I know I'm not a student yet, but I do love badminton, so I might, join them maybe. Just thinking about it. And then we also have student organization clubs, like some of our most popular ones. We have a radio show. So we have this beautiful state-of-the-art sound recording studio where we host our radio show, and students can have their own live radio show that is being broadcasted. So anything that you are interested in, we might have the club for you. And if not, again, you can create it yourself very easily. And to start that student organization, you'll only need 5 other people who are willing to join the organization. And also you just have to fill out this quick form and then get approval. This is a list of what we have available now. You'll find that there are a lot of cultural organizations. There are a lot based on interests like quilting or ceramics or sports like badminton, if you count that as a sport, basketball. And then you'll see that some of them transition based on what the students are interested in. Like when I was a student, a popular club was like the soccer club, and they would play with a lot of Baltimore leagues. Another club that was pretty popular was I'm trying to bring this one back and find some support in this, but there was a haunted Halloween, what is it? Not haunted Halloween, a haunted house club that every year they would totally recreate the B-Box theater that we have and turn it into a haunted house. And it's like a ticketed event for the community. I hate scary things, but it was just such a cool production. Honestly, it wasn't even just something you walk through and look at. It's a production. There's actors involved, and the students are acting and designing. and doing all the marketing for it as well. So that's something really interesting. So if any of you guys join us this fall, please bring back the haunted house. Okay, so health and safety, another big topic. We have this wonderful building, which is all for health and wellness. It's called the Health and Wellness Center. What they do offer is they have a student counseling center, they have a fitness center, they have an office of accessibility and disability, and they also house our campus safety department. So our MICA Student Health Services office, basically they're an outpatient primary health care facility. So let's say that you have a cold or you have a chronic illness or you just need to see a doctor immediately. What you want to do is during office hours, you can schedule an appointment or walk in and get the services that you need. They also can help you with like primary care visits and things like that. So it's really nice to have that available to you right on campus, right? The Student Counseling Center, wonderful team over there, and they're there to serve and support the emotional and psychological well-being of MICA students. We know it's a very challenging time for students. I mean, maybe I'm speaking from my own experience, but it was difficult moving from home to being on my own. And as a very independent person, I was very stubborn and wanted to do everything on my own. And that was really tricky. So I navigated those years and there's support for that. So the Student Counseling Center is there. Their services are free, they're confidential, and available to any MICA student enrolled in a full-time undergraduate, graduate, or even post-bac program, right? So know that's there for you. There's also this really nice fitness center. It hosts a variety of cardio and weight machines featuring treadmills, ellipticals, bikes, free weights. I think there's actually a Peloton in there now. Don't quote me on that, but they also have really fun group fitness classes. I know they offer Tai Chi, they have yoga, all sorts of things available, and you can find those all online. So we want to make sure you're also taking care of your body as well. Not last but not least, the Office of Accessibility and Disability Service supports MICA students by providing equal access to educational opportunities to qualified students with documented disabilities. All right, so if you need additional aid, academic accommodations, housing accommodations, or emotional support animals that be on campus with you, this is the office that you're going to be working with. And then speaking of campus safety, yes, the headquarters is in that building with our health services center, but they're also all around campus. Our campus safety officers patrol the campus 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And the security guards are stationed at every campus safety desk, which is at the entrance of all of our academic and residence halls. And they're the eyes and ears of the MICA community. You'll also see them patrolling the neighborhood that surrounds MICA. And honestly, that's all because we want to, make sure that our students feel safe. And it's very common for college campuses to have campus safety officers all around campus for various reasons. Yes, we are located in a city, but we are a little bit north and in a private neighborhood. I've been here since 2011 in the city, and I would say that, our campus safety is very friendly, and they're just, it's nice to know that they are around. Okay. So campus safety offers a few different services, right? They have a 24-hour dispatch service, which means that they're always available to you if you need to call them for any reason. There's a phone app called Rave Guardian, which is there for you in case of an emergency, if you need to report anything, if you feel unsafe. Let's say you hung out with friends late at night, you're walking back to your dorm room and you feel unsafe. You can alert campus safety through that app. There's a MICA alert messaging system. So if anything is happening on campus, then alert will go directly to your phone. There's also a 24-hour shuttle service and a 24-hour walking escort service. You'll notice that some of our classes end on the later end, like around 9 or 10 p.m. And some students live off campus. Some students live on campus, but the class might be, on the entirely the other side of our campus, which could be like a 10 or 15-minute walk. If you feel unsafe, you can call the shuttle service. If you feel like, I don't know, extra tired that day, you can call the service. If you are running late to class and you have a ton of things to carry, take the shuttle service. There's a circulator that goes through all through the day, which means that it stops at all the buildings and there's a timed schedule for that. But they also have a calling service in the evening. All right, so academic advising at MICA is for students to really build a relationship with the institution. I really think that they are there to aid you in not only graduating, but help you through the pathway of your 4 years or 2 years or how many years if you're transferring and just getting to your end goal. And today we have with us Chris, who is the first year academic advisor, who I will let speak for a little while.
Thank you, Jane. Hello,
You're
everybody. My name
welcome.
is Chris. Yeah, and our academic advising structure, I love selfishly because I work with every single first year student. So anybody that comes in as a 4-year student works with me during that first year. And we do lots of stuff together. We gossip, we complain, we argue, we talk about art, we talk about liberal arts. Like today, my job, at work, there were 4 students who came in to talk about degree planning and fall courses. I met a student at the printmaking building because I'm convinced that this student needs to be a printmaking major. I had 2 painting students come by to talk to like brainstorm about their final projects for a painting class. So I love it. And you can't get past me if you are a first year student. We again will kind of like everything from planning future courses, immediate courses, to also just sort of thinking about what works and what is not working with your immediate classes. So when we meet in the fall, we talk about what you are loving, what you're not loving, and that helps us kind of dictate what's going to happen in the spring. And then, of course, also like just anything else that students want. I tend to be kind of a contact person and I can redirect to other support services. So I thought that I would maybe briefly dig into the first year curriculum a little bit so folks could see what the coursework looked like. And you'll have to forgive my ridiculous graphic design here because I'm not a graphic designer. But the basic gist, in the first year, there are 10 classes that first year students take. 8 of those are studio classes and 2 of those are liberal arts classes because MICA has a really robust and vital kind of like academic thread that goes through all 4 years of your degree. And that's there to help you ask better questions and to help you be more inquisitive and to help you do better research so that the art that you make asks better questions and is more inquisitive and is more research founded. But in the first year, 8 studio classes. 6 of them are what we, are typically considered like foundation classes. So they are required regardless of anticipated major for every student that comes through. And the idea there is that, well, it's sort of a twofold idea. On the one hand, it's that every artist that we want to produce at MICA is going to be interdisciplinary. It's that you're going to be doing things across discipline, that every animator is it going to be a better animator if they take a fiber class? And like every sculptor is going to be better if they take a photo class. And on the other hand, it's also that we want to make sure that everybody that comes to MICA has the skills to live, to not just kind of like succeed at MICA and not just get the job that you want, but to live a fulfilling creative life. And a big part of that is that you don't know what you're going to need when you're 47 and you might want to build a greenhouse or something. So you need those shop skills. Or you might take up printmaking later in life. And we want to make sure that you have the ability to live that sort of fulfilling life. So in the first year, I'll run through stuff really quick, just so you have an idea of what's coming your way. These are the required first year studios. Contemporary visual languages is really is partly self-directed. You get to explore a lot of different disciplines with a lot of different materials. And the big element of CVL, contemporary visual languages, is thinking about meaning. Like, how do you discover meaning in your art? How do you find meaning in other people's art? How do you make meaningful art? That is a required first semester course for everybody. The second kind of step of it is independent studio. So in the spring, you build an independent project over, maybe like 4 or 5 different stages to your choosing. So you'll be in a room with people that are all doing totally different things with different materials, different processes, different disciplines. So that'll be fall and spring. And then these are kind of the discipline or skill specific studios that everyone takes. And they're broken down, I think, in a way that is really intuitive. There's a 2D class, our color design class. And that's pretty open in terms of kind of what you can make there. It's about learning the principles of color theory. There's a 3D class called fabrication. And that, in a lot of ways, is a tool shop class. You get really comfortable using the tools that you would in a woodworking studio, in a metalworking studio, in a sculpture studio. New media is our digital class or 4D class. That's largely Adobe Suite based, and some instructors go heavy with graphic design. Some instructors do animation. Some instructors are increasingly incorporating like AR or VR stuff. And then all students take a drawing course, drawing fundamentals. And I'll come back to a few of these details in a second. There's also 2 kind of universally required first year liberal arts classes. One is an art history class called Modernisms, which is about the modern era. And a big part of it also is trying to deconstruct and scrutinize what we consider like the canon. And then there's the first year, what I consider kind of first year composition class called Ways of Writing, which is a course on critical thinking, on critical reading, and arguing with each other and yelling and all those fun things. And then the big deal here at the end is that every student in the first year has 2 studio electives of your choosing. So in these studio classes, you have an immense amount of freedom to make things that you want to make. It's just sort of filtered through particular lenses, like a 3D lens or a new media digital lens. But students also get to choose 2 electives, and the electives are where you can really focus on a discipline. So our electives are like, traditional printmaking, or principles of animation, or introduction to painting, or introduction to sculpture, or woodworking, or metalworking, any of these things. And I think the last thing I would mention, second to last thing I'll mention about our curriculum is that one of the 2 things I love most about the first year at MICA is that it's really unattached to your major. MICA majors are designed to start during the second year. And so what that allows you to do is like just kind of go wild your first year, to do the absolute weirdest thing you can think of. And so with these electives, you might come in as an animation major, but if you take a fiber class and a illustration class that first year as your electives, you're not behind schedule at all. And those are decisions that are going to make you a more dynamic and interesting animator. And the last thing I will say with some of these things, one of the things that I can say, I'm biased. I grew up in Baltimore. I grew up revering MICA kids and thinking they were like the coolest people in the universe. But I do think this is one component academically that is truly unique to this school, is that the curriculum is really responsive to student voices. So I meet with every single first year student at least once during the fall semester, and most first year students multiple times throughout the year, to talk about what works, what doesn't work, what they love, what they don't love. And our curriculum like responds in time to that. So there were an example of that. There are pretty significant changes that we made that'll affect your incoming class based on conversations I had this year. And many of those would be in terms of like offering you know, if a student comes in, I'll highlight this. If a student comes in, for example, with like extensive tool shop or fabrication experience, if you did tech crew or stage design in high school, we want to make sure that you're challenged. We want to make sure that there aren't redundancies. And so we could, you know, we could have the conversation about substituting a 3D elective in lieu of this fabrication class. And similarly for new media, if you have like, if you are really fluent in Adobe Suite, we want you to be challenged by a different 4D studio elective. So that's kind of a big way of saying that it's all, on Carlos, I see here. Carlos, a fantastic question about transfer students. Transfer students, we have an amazing transfer advisor, specifically True Ludwig, who has been working explicitly with transfer students for years. And a transfer student schedule is going to want to honor what you're coming in with. Same as any student, really. Like, we want to honor the work that you've already done and honor the knowledge and the skills that you already have. So it wouldn't be uncommon for a transfer student to come in and only be taking a few of these first year courses based on what you have done elsewhere or the work you've been doing someplace else. Contemporary visual languages is, in many ways, it's like the introduction to a MICA studio. So this is this course where you're going to get to pursue work that you're interested in over many disciplines. It's going to make you work outside of your comfort zone. But the big kind of drive of that class is thinking about what is meaning. Like, how is meaning in art discovered? Where do we draw it from? How do we make meaningful art? What does that even mean? Because that's not always a thing that has to be a part of art making. You know, sometimes we just want to do something for fun, for the hell of it. But contemporary visual languages is trying to get into that part of it. Sorry, we're in it that now I am rambling, but that's the curriculum, and it is great, and it is responsive and expansive. And if anybody ever has any questions, I see there's some chat stuff, but I'll provide my email address. So anybody who ever wants to reach out to me, I'm always thrilled to talk about this stuff.
No, thank you, Chris. We really appreciate that. And you weren't rambling, you were answering questions. So no, that was great. I know you have to head out soon. So would you mind if I asked folks to submit a question like now if they wanted to ask you something before
Oh,
you
totally.
leave?
Yeah, I'm thrilled to take any questions you have now.
Awesome. Hey, audience, if you have any questions specifically for Chris, feel free to drop it in the chat or the Q&A, and my super spy, Mahala, Invisible Mahala, is going to let me know if there is a question specifically for
Cool. And
Chris.
I already see a great one. So I see, can I change my major after freshman if I feel? Absolutely. So that is a fantastic question. I don't want to scare anybody because I know that you've been told your entire life that you have to have your major pre-articulated and you have to know exactly what you're going to do. I ideally want students to come into MICA's first year undecided. Now, I'm not telling you that you can't love what you love, but what I personally adore about the MICA curriculum is that we want you to be shaken up. Like, I am going to be thrilled. I had this week alone, because this has been a heavy appointment week. I've had like over 10 students come in this week having that existential, I think I got to change my major experience. And I think what that means is that MICA is doing its job, right? That we are challenging students, that students are starting to think differently. So yes, majors effectively do not have to begin until your second year. So you can unquestionably change them. What is here? On being
It's
human.
happening.
Yeah, there's questions. On being human. So for some of these courses, and we would get into all of this during the summer. I meet with everybody during the summer. On being human is kind of it's a more reading, more research-based class. And it's a fantastic class. It's kind of like sort of an anthropology literature course that we want to offer to students, particularly students that have taken AP English or literature or Cambridge or IB, because our ways of writing is very similar to the AP class. So On Being Human is sort of just a way to kind of offer a little bit more outside of that. And it's a little more topic based, right? So like On Being Human is taught by, and it's invariably taught by some of, a fantastic instructor. And so it thinks about the history of humanism. One of the core questions of which is like, what does it mean to be human? So one week there might be a conversation about AI. One week I'll be going to a class in about 2 weeks that's about the animal emotional, like the emotional spectrum and experience of animals. Because we say like, well, if a dog can feel jealousy and grief, which we think of as human emotions, like what does that say about human beings? So I love On Being Human. Creative writing is a minor. We have tons of minors. With all this stuff, it is good to be excited, but it's even better to just come in and play it through the first year. So nothing that you have declared will in any way lock you into a course of action in your first year or change your first year experience or predictate your second, third, and fourth years. You can change all of that. You can declare minors, you can drop minors, you can declare new majors, you can drop majors. And a creative writing minor, which is a fantastic thing to do. In my former life, I was an English professor, is something that you couldn't even really get started on your first year, so you don't need to worry about it. List of electives on the MICA website. Yes, if you look on the MICA website, if you search like, say you want to try printmaking, if you were to search MICA printmaking classes, pretty much any 200 level studio class at MICA will be an acceptable first year elective. Now, when you connect with me during the summer, I will provide you with a list of like all 30, what I think of as, not I hate that word appropriate, but electives that are going to be places where first year students can succeed. And they're all across the board. I mentioned like there are animation courses, there are painting courses, there are printmaking courses, there are sculpture courses, there are ceramics courses, there are sound courses, coding courses, anything you can think of. The majors that you can take, good stuff here. You're getting really going deep. That is, it's there are certainly students that double major. A very popular thing and something that I always try and support is doing. We have a fantastic program that's a studio major and an academic major that work together. I'll give my email. Yeah, I'll give my email to everybody. The minor, don't worry about minors. Minors at MICA are 5 courses. And I think I would love to get ahead of this because this is a question I get all the time. You don't have to do a minor. No employer is ever going to care if you did a minor. A minor is a good opportunity for you to just kind of do something that you want to do anyway, to do it accidentally. But once we start getting into the second and third year, oftentimes students say, with the film minor, for example, they might say, well, I've already taken film 1, I've already taken move and image. I know I want to take these 3 electives. Maybe I should just do the minor too. But I don't want people to be, you don't even need to come in with a major planned out, much less minors. I want you to figure that stuff out while you're here. That's the fun. That's like the chaos of it. For me, for art high school, yeah, it's a conversation. So we want to work with students. And again, for instance, like with new media, with our digital class, there's no equivalent AP for that work. So what we did this year when I was trying to work out these changes is I had the chair of our first year work directly with students who had raised their hand and were like, I've done a lot of digital work. I'm really good at Adobe Suite. The chair is like, okay, well, make a portfolio for me and I'll look through it. And then the chair is at the very least, you're getting a portfolio critique from our chair, Stefan, who is a renowned digital and interactive spaces artist. But at optimally, in many cases, Stefan would look at something and say like, this is a really impressive portfolio. I noticed that you could really develop like your film skills. So you should take film 100 or film 200 as a replacement. Claire, I would love for you and so haunted house, Jane, to my heart as well. We historically have had a theater crew that is not active, right? Or I think it actually has been reactivated, but there's like
it is reactivated.
It is reactivated. Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So Claire, I'm looking at you to set this place on fire. You need somebody to help supervise a Shakespeare production. I am here and ready to help.
There are also a lot of local Baltimore theaters that you can easily work with, depending on your schedule. But yeah, there are a lot of local theaters, small to medium to large, I guess, all the sizes. So definitely look into those.
Yeah, and cool, and like some places doing cool interactive stuff and
Mhm.
what I just see. So Nishai, in terms of the animation with coding, I won't answer that specifically, but to answer it broadly, everything that we do here is based on the assumption that you're not coming in with expertise, right? So with animation, even with game design, we have a game design program. That's designed, the game design program is designed with the assumption that you have never coded or designed a game before, right? We want to work with creative thinkers from the ground up. So you do not need to worry about coding. Whatever you need to become the animator that you want to be, you'll get here. Whatever I'm currently working on, I agree that theater should be a major. Tariana, send me an email just because I don't know what an AFA is.
I think Sharon has a
Oh,
very
yes.
good point. I'm going to take that straight to the president and see what we can do about making theater a major.
Yeah, 100%. Studio dance class available. So are in the area of Baltimore. That's a good question, Mariana. I mean, not at MICA. We have a to me, delightful and surprisingly increased focus on performance right now at MICA, but that's more through kind of like the performance art. But again, if you like were to email me that question, I could ask people.
Mhm. I do know we have a theater club that's doing productions. They recently had one. I'm unfamiliar with it, but we did have one. We do have a theater club.
Mhm. Lucas, you can choose any damn major you want to choose. You are not limited. Computer, we have tons of, I mean, we have on campus, there are tons of computer resources. We have computer labs and computer
Mhm.
spaces.
It is actually going to be required now, but there will be aid for that. So, excuse me. If you need assistance with getting the required equipment, just reach out to your admission counselor and they'll be happy to help you with that. Okay.
Mhm.
And I know, Chris, you're a musician yourself.
Yes.
Are you familiar with any of the spaces, or should I just go off of what I know?
I love the next two questions. So yes, I have some bias here because that's sort of my universe is music and sound art. So first of all, there's a sound art minor. So there's a sound program that we have at MICA that's housed in the interactive arts, but we have two major resources. I have like a home studio that I built that I've hobbled together over years. MICA has a recording studio, which is a fully loaded kind of traditional recording studio in one of the main buildings with major board, right? Access to all the kind of DAW and engineering platforms you would need, and a full space with sound booths and all that. And then next door to that, we also have a separate electronic music studio. So there are two kind of dedicated music studios on campus. There's intro to sound classes. We don't have music classes per se, but this kind of gets back to an earlier question that our sound program, these are opportunities for students to explore sound design and music, but there's the assumption that you have no musical background to begin with. And then there's like Vigil, which is an all-night kind of experimental music festival that happens every year where students present their work. So yeah, good music stuff. Good music stuff. I keep a guitar in my office to loan to students who need one. Students get liberal arts. There's going to be extensive liberal arts work throughout your 4 years at MICA. The first year is a little constrictive because you've got to do those two classes. After the first year, you have an immense amount of freedom. So you'll be doing that work in the liberal arts and art history, but you will have a ton of choice in kind of like which courses you take. So for example, I won't get too in the weeds. Every student at MICA to graduate will need to take a course that can be categorized as either philosophy or religious studies. But any given semester, there'll be 5 to 7 of those classes offered, and you can take them at any time. Yeah, the majors, with majors, certain major majors speak to each other in different ways. The thesis is this is not, we don't really need to, this will be a conversation we can have when you get here. But certain majors speak better to each other than others. We have an architectural design program. Yep, we have an architectural design minor that thinks about interior space and how we interact with space.
I can answer the question about if animation requires Windows or Mac. Well, I can kind of answer it. My answer is that I'm not entirely sure. But I do know that there is, if you go on our website and you look up required, what is it, equipment or technology, that you can find that information there. I do think it's a personal preference, but I think we do prefer Macs just because, you know, after you graduate, you're most likely going to have to work with Macs. So we want to make sure that you're familiar and well-versed with that. Okay. All right. And I think yep, everyone was kind enough to pause questions. I think, Chris, are you still okay with us sharing your email?
Yeah, it'd be my great honor. Here, I'll put it
Oh,
in.
that's so nice of you.
Yeah, so I'll put this in here, and I will say to everybody, like, send me emails. Stuff is a little crazy right now just because we're in registration season, so I might not be super quick getting back to you. But I'll get back to you. And if I don't have the answer that you're looking for, I'll find somebody who does.
Thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it. You answered a ton of questions. You're quite popular.
I appreciate that. That's all I ever wanted. Well, I hope I'm gonna hop out, but I really do hope to see everybody here in the fall.
Thank you
Thanks,
so
everyone.
much. All right, so that was pretty awesome. All right, so I have one last portion to my presentation. And it's about a very fun topic and one of my favorite topics, which is about living in Baltimore. Again, this is also a very, I don't know, Jane-centric presentation. So this part is actually just about me. So I'm going to let my current students speak on their behalf about Baltimore, but I'm going to start here. Okay, so just some background information. I actually grew up in Maryland. I grew up 30 minutes away from MICA. Let's say 40. It's in the suburbs. My high school was built on a cornfield. I probably visit the city as a kid like 2 or 3 times in the touristy part. I came to visit MICA's campus and I realized, oh, it's not in like the touristy part. It's in this beautiful little neighborhood. There's a lot of culture happening. There are a lot of festivals happening. This particular image is from a festival that happens near Patterson Park, which is this beautiful park that's about southeast of the city. Thank you. Got a water delivery. Okay, so again, I've been living in Baltimore since 2011. I left my parents' house, moved into Founders Green, as you know, and I never went back. I think my mom's a little sad about it, but you know, here we are. I'm 30. This is my family. And we've all been in Baltimore. My daughter's been born in Baltimore, and it's been a wild ride. This image on the left is of Graffiti Alley, which is basically on MICA's campus, and it's an alley that is designated for graffitiing. It's basically a public work of art. I actually had one of my freshman year classes go there and they taught us how to do wheat pasting, which is taking an image and transferring it onto a wall, which was really exciting. And then fun fact, at my first job after graduating at a museum, we did this really fun installation of entire murals of wheat pasting images from Devin Allen, who's quite famous. So just a subtle brag. These are very blurry. I apologize. I tried replacing them. One of my fun favorite things about Baltimore is, well, Maryland in general, are crabs. Maryland blue crabs. I don't know if you're a seafood fan, but if you are, they're quite delicious, especially Maryland crab soup, which is one of my favorite things. And Crabtown, USA is one of my favorite places. Yes, it's a little bit outside of the city, but it is in Baltimore County. And they have an entire vintage arcade with like basically I think the most vintage pinball machines of the entire East Coast. So it's a really fun place to go. And there's games, there's food, it's just a good time. It's a good way to like kind of leave the campus for a second, take your friends out. One of my favorite things about Baltimore is, honestly, as a student, I spent a lot of time, when I'm not in the classroom, going to music venues and different shows. There's this wonderful place called the Auto Bar, which is very close to campus. There's also Metro Gallery. There's a lot of local bands and also bands that are traveling and going on tour that come by. So if you're a big fan of just like going to a venue, losing yourself to some music, all sorts of different, what is it? What is it? Genres of music. It's quite fun. There was this event that no longer exists, but there was this really fun event that happened every month called 4 Hours of Funk, and it was basically this giant dance party. And afterwards there's always a band playing or like some sort of musical guest playing. And I remember there was an Aboriginal Australian, like an Aboriginal band playing with like the didgeridoo and all sorts of stuff, but in a very funky manner. And that was a really amazing experience I'm never going to forget. So big music scene, lots of fun music and art venues, gallery spaces, and wonderful people. On the right here is actually one of my friend's bands, Joseph and the Beast. Amazingly talented band, and they have shows all the time nearby. Okay, so the food, some of my favorite, again, this is all about me. So some of my favorite restaurants and places to eat and dishes right in Station North. This is a bit fancy. This is more of like maybe not a college student, but college graduate place to eat. Alma Cocina is a Venezuelan restaurant, and it's so delicious. So if your parents are visiting you while you're a student and you're like, hey, mom, dad, I want you to buy me some really nice, delicious, fancy food, go there. It's so, 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 so good. The atmosphere is great. It's amazing. On the bottom left, um, on the bottom left is my favorite dessert of all time. It's a cardamom ice cream with dates and figs and mango. It's served at the Helmand, which is a restaurant that's been around since, I believe, the 70s in Baltimore City, Mount Vernon, walking distance as well, about 10-minute walk from our campus. Amazing food. It's Afghan food, great vibe, great atmosphere, very welcoming, very warm, amazing flavors. Less fancy, I have an image here on the bottom right of a place called Our House. The letter R, House. You may have gotten an invite if you live nearby. For this Sunday, we are hosting an event there for admitted students or local students. So please come by, register online on our website, where we are going to have a bunch of food vendors. The president of MICA is going to be there. We're going to be there. I'm going to be there. We're going to be speaking, answering questions. Ray's going to be there, I believe. Yeah, you'll learn a little bit about it later. But anyway, there are a ton of different food vendors. It's very close to the Hopkins campus and also MICA's campus. So you'll see a lot of like mixed campuses happening, especially on like a Friday or Saturday night, which is really fun. All right. And some beautiful nature places to visit. I'm sorry if you heard my daughter screaming just now. Okay, so on the right here is an image of one of the rooms in this beautiful conservatory in Druid Hill, which is about probably like a 20-minute walk, but pretty easy to get to if you want to have a friend that drives or something. It's if you just feel like escaping everything, sketching for a few hours. They have this beautiful koi pond. They have an orchid room. They have this beautiful cactus room. It's a great place to just settle. It's free. It's free. It's a great experience. It's also right next to the Baltimore Zoo, which is one of my favorite places to visit as well, and a great place to sketch. There are a lot of beautiful parks and hiking trails in Maryland as well. So I highly recommend you explore those. There's some close to campus. There's some further up north from campus. This is actually my late dog Polo hiking with us at Lake Roland, which is honestly what, like a 10-minute light rail stop away. So that's public transit. The light rail will drop you right off and you can go on a hike. Oh, thank you, Kylie. He was one of the best. But anyway, loved his hikes, except around dinner time. He wanted to go home and eat. Oh, and on the bottom left is another picture of Patterson Park. So that's the very famous pagoda. They do a lighting ceremony every year around Christmas time. So tons of events happen there. There are a lot of like parades, community festivals. There's a lantern parade where folks from the artist community or like local schools and things, they make their like paper lanterns. I think Michaela participated, so I'll let Michaela talk about it a little bit later. But it's super cool. I almost took my daughter, but it was a little bit too late for her. Okay, and last but not least about Baltimore, some of my favorite places to just, again, escape from, just like everyday hustle bustle, gotta go to school, gotta go work, gotta go do my homework. Any rooftop. I love a good rooftop, like just like, zen, yeah, enjoy the view and things like that. And also on the right are a couple exhibitions from a local museum called the Baltimore Museum of Art. I cannot recommend it enough. If you come visit our campus, please stop at the Baltimore Museum of Art as well. It is a free museum, and it has just, I don't know, a lot of our students intern there, amazing exhibitions, very well produced, very well marketed, beautiful venue. Also has a beautiful sculpture garden and restaurant attached to it. So it's a whole experience. If you're going to come to Baltimore, definitely want to go to the Baltimore Museum of Art. Okay. All right. So for the admitted students out there, hold on, let me minimize. All right, so before we jump into learning about, I don't know, speaking to our students, which is probably what you're mostly excited about, I just wanted to let you know, remind you that decision deadline is May 1st. There are talks about extending that because of FAFSA delays, so keep your eyes and ears open for that. If you decide to attend MICA, which we hope you do, move-in day is going to be August 21st. Orientation will start that day, August 21st, and is for an entire week. So we spend all of orientation teaching you all about what's going on, all where your classes will be. You'll get to adjust and things like that. Okay. And then the first day of class for the fall semester is going to be August 26th. Right. And now I am going to let you all ask the questions to our wonderful student representatives that are here with us today. We have Lauren and Ray, and I'm going to let Lauren introduce themselves first, and then I'll let Ray jump in.
Okay. Hi everyone. My name is Lauren Johnson. I'm a I'm a sophomore graphic design major, humanistic studies minor. I just declared my minor. And I transferred to MICA last January, so in the spring semester. I don't really have a fun fact, but I don't know. I like wearing my hair in different colors,
I love
which
it.
isn't,
I think
it isn't that, actually, now that I say it out loud, it's not that unique at MICA, but
I do
I'm a
love
dime a
that
dozen.
you have a student job as in the
That's
Office of Res
true.
Life. So that's a great, I don't
Yeah,
know
that's
if
my fun
anyone
fact.
wants to drop any questions about that. There you go. Lauren's here for help.
And my name is Raina Kaur. I'm a senior painting major, and I came here in 2019 and took a gap year and came back. Switched majors, so I know about that as well. And I actually work for the Office of Undergraduate Admissions as like a student ambassador. Ooh, so that's like an on-campus work opportunity. I see like little questions later, but that'll be later. But I guess my fun fact is that I was actually at Lake Roland earlier. I went on like a 2-mile hike today unexpectedly, so that was really cool.
Oh, I love that. I
Where'd
wish
you
I could have
go?
been there.
So like I just like normally I go to like the right that takes you like across the train tracks and like past the waterfall,
Okay.
but
Oh, you did
yeah,
the
my part
okay, you did the real hike. I thought you were
yeah, no,
talking
I went
about the
the
walk.
other way. Like I did the
Okay.
whole like through the woods thing and I was like I just wanted to go look at bugs and rocks, but I guess I'm on a 2-mile
Of course
hike.
you did.
Mhm.
All right. Oh, did you guys share what state you're from?
Oh, I'm from Florida, Orlando.
And I'm from Southern Virginia.
Okay, cool. Should we jump into some of these questions? All right, Mahela, I might need your help on this, my spy. All right, so are on-campus work opportunities available?
Yes.
Yes.
And it's not just like what the two of us do either. You could work for Postal Imprint, which is like our full service post office. You can send and receive mail, but you could be a student worker there as well. And you could also work after your freshman year. I think you have to graduate freshman year. You could work as one of the techs in the labs. So there's like a bunch of DFAB labs. There's like the
Mhm.
woodworking labs, and you can also be like a tech for the sound booth and all of those things. You also have like events, so you could be like a stagehand, or you could be like the people who do lights and sound and projectors and tech and stuff for like larger events.
You can also do food if you want to like work at one of our dining halls,
Mhm.
like Doris or Meyerhoff. There's like a lot of jobs we have. I think we have like a work day. So if like we have like a whole work day form
Yeah,
where
there is.
yeah,
Yeah,
where
like a
like
site. Yeah.
yeah, in different departments, they just post, jobs they need students for, and they'll have their own unique qualifications, but a lot of them kind of just boil down to being a MICA student full time. So, and then usually you get trained on like once you get accepted to the job.
Yeah, there's some very specific jobs available too, like helping our marketing team with like social media stuff. So if you're interested in that, there's jobs like that as well.
I had a friend who went around and filmed TikToks all day, and that was what they got paid to do.
That's awesome. I want
Yeah.
that job.
Ooh, okay, so I'll answer some questions about specifically moving from Florida. So for me, I actually have a lot of family up here. At least, okay, not in Baltimore, but in the general DMV area, and then just kind of a little bit more up the East Coast, up into like Philly. So I wasn't as nervous. Um, it is definitely a big change, especially with like the weather. Um, I like the cold, so I'm actually having a great time. But yeah, make sure you have a coat. Get a real coat. Get a coat when you come up here. That's the big thing. In Florida, those are not real coats. Those are like heavy jackets. Get a real coat, one that goes past your butt. Sorry to be so crass, but get one that actually like, covers you. Actually, right now I'm wearing my hands got cold, so I had to put on like my fingerless. Um, and make sure you get vitamins. They don't tell you that. Get vitamins. Your parents your parents always telling you to eat your fruits and veggies and get the sun. Get sun. The sun here, it's cloudy half the time, and then the sun kind of comes out. So make sure you get some vitamin D gummies. Make sure you're eating your fruits. Like you will feel so much better. If you ever start feeling sad, just be like, wait, did I have a vegetable in the past few days? Yes, and yes, you do need to wear sunscreen. You do need to wear sunscreen.
This
You should wear
advice.
That's
sunscreen
it.
in
You should wear
general.
sunscreen generally, no matter where
Yeah.
you are, always get sunscreen. Yes, the weather is crazy. Like, we have really hot days. We have snow. Literally, it hasn't snowed in like a couple years here. And the one year I bring my car up here, it wants to snow. I was shoveling snow off a car. And from Florida, I didn't know that they had like tools for that. I was like, how do I get the snow off the car? Crazy.
I love it. I've been in Maryland my whole life, and I
Y'all
don't
don't
think it's
know.
that
No, everyone's like,
crazy. I
Florida
don't think
weather,
it's
Florida
that
weather's
crazy.
crazy.
It's
It's
like we
crazy.
have 4 seasons. What do you want from us?
And now we're about to get into the pollen. I can't.
Oh, that
Ugh, that's gonna
we're not here to talk about allergies.
and then yeah,
Coming
everyone
from,
is like sniffling. Yeah.
I say coming from like Southern, I know it's not that far, but it's different.
It is
Um,
different.
like my access to nature got like reduced by at least 3/4. I have to
Mm.
Yeah.
like go, not that far, but I do have to seek it out. I get a little homesick about like walking outside with just flip-flops on or like seeing a
Mhm.
large body of water.
Everyone comes at me for wearing sandals.
I will wear flip-flops.
I
I'm
will wear
sorry.
flip-flops. Everyone's like, wear your
No.
wear your closed-toed shoes. When I had to take my like the fabrication class, and they're like, you have to wear closed-toed shoes because we're working, with actual tools. I was like, every class? I was like, okay, fine. Safety first.
Oh my gosh. Okay, are we done with that?
That's my
All right, let's see. What else do we got? Everyone's talking about the weather now. Uh,
It's important, just keep up with it. And then I
I
guess
know.
from even if you're coming from any place that's pretty far, just call your folks. Call like because I feel like there's some people who are like, oh, I'm really homesick, and then they're really like out about it. And there's some people who pretend they're not homesick and they're like, I don't have to call my parents. I don't have to call my old friends. Call them, give them a text, send a picture. My first year of college in general wasn't at MICA, but I was also far away. I was up in Boston, which is even further and colder. And I've sent my friends and we sent photos of each other every day, every morning.
Oh,
So whatever you have that connects you to home, or, even if it's like a pet, you get somebody to send you pictures of your pet. Just like whatever it takes.
you're
There's
making
no
me
shame.
sad.
Why? Because like a lot of people miss. What? It's
No,
not
absolutely,
sad.
absolutely. I know, and I'm just being dramatic. Wait, there was actually a question that you kind of answered, but when you elaborate on, it was like, how has it been adjusting as a transfer student? I don't know if you mentioned that you are a
Mhm.
transfer student, but
I
I
I
thought that'd be
did.
a good one.
Yeah,
Oh, sweet.
so adjusting as a transfer student, it's been a little, I would say it's definitely very interesting. So I transferred in the spring semester. So it was definitely less fanfare because transfer students who come in with the incoming class in like the fall semester, there's the whole orientation, there's like the hoorah. But when I came in like a cold January morning, there was only like a handful of us that were even staying on campus. Like, so most of the transfers just kind of chose to move off campus. I mean, live off campus. So it was like me and like 5, 6 other people who actually were staying in Founders at the same time. And it was difficult at first just because I didn't transfer from an art school. And I didn't even go to like an art high school or anything. I transferred from Emerson College, so it was a liberal arts school, but it wasn't an art school. Like, so I actually also had to not retake, but I had to take all of the whole first year experience because I had never taken
Aw.
any of those classes. I transferred with
Mm.
all my like a lot of my academic classes out the way, but I was like, I have to take a drawing class. This is crazy. But I really got to know those people. We did have our own like short orientation where I got to know the people who were transferring with me, and I got to know the people who were transferring with me and also living in the dorms. And my advisor was True. My advisor still is True, and I love True.
She was
And
great.
what he did was he was able to kind of set up our classes so that I was with a lot of transfers. So I think pretty much every class I had my first incoming year as a transfer student was other transfers. So it can feel kind of weird, especially because like I feel like there's a lot of like confusion with transfers, like what year are you graduating or how long have you been in school? And it's like, I guess like coming and being like, well, I'm a second semester sophomore, or I'm a first semester this or that, or like my graduation year, I'm actually not sure yet. I have to wait to see how some things line up. Getting to know the people who are also transferring and in that same boat is very helpful. I feel like I'm kind of rambling now, but I feel like it's very it's very important to go out of your way to get to know them, see what everyone else is from, and then just introduce yourself. There's no shame in talking to freshmen because they're also experiencing like this is a new school.
Yep.
And don't just think that every freshman is just an immature kid. Like, people are coming to school from different ages, different times, different backgrounds and experiences. And, just get to know the people in your incoming class. Like, I think that that's just also really important.
Agreed. That is such good advice. Like really good advice. I know a lot of transfer students ask that question. And it's tough because like everyone's experience is different, right? But you got to put yourself out there, get outside of your comfort zone, and yeah, don't judge someone by their age, right? I have to answer this question from Nicole Richardson. Yes, I highly recommend you bring a rice cooker, and yes, you can. And then Ray, there's a question about freshmen being allowed to have pets. Remind me, did you have your cat here?
Not freshman year, but I was definitely allowed. I had my cat with me my sophomore and junior year. You definitely can do it freshman year. You probably just have to get the process started now. I have an ESA named Peanut that lives with me. I don't live in the dorms anymore, but she did live with me in the dorms. You need like a prescription for it, I guess is what I would call it. Your provider, it's easy to find on like the MICA website, the requirements, but you can get to like your primary care provider, or if you seek like have a therapist or something, they can like write you a prescription for it. And then you just fill out a form with the Office of Accessibility and Disability, and then they go through Res Life. And then you have to get like a vet checkup for your pet to make sure that they're okay, and they have all their shots to come here in case they're in contact with anybody else. You know what I mean? So it's not a hard process, but sometimes it can take a second to get like the pet into a vet or get the prescription. So it's not like it's not a hard process, but it can be lengthy. So if you wanted to do it freshman year, I would recommend getting it started now, just because those things can take time.
Yeah, totally. Oh, Kylie says I'm gonna miss my cats, but I can't take them from the only home they know. Hey, make friends with new cats. There are a lot of cats. And
There are a ton of
you'll-
cats. There are a ton of cats on campus.
Oh, it's
I
okay.
can't cheat.
And my cat
Um,
did really well adjusting. My roommates were very sweet. It took like a couple weeks. And she was about 3 when I brought her here, so she had already really adjusted to my parents' house. And there was like a couple weeks of hiding in drawers, but she pretty much came out of her shell after that.
Yeah,
And they will tell you where the fire exits are. Yes.
yeah, I think
yeah,
the
our camp.
pets-
Sorry.
sorry, just a real quick.
Go.
The pets that are allowed are what, cats, dogs, and I think fish, up to 10-gallon tank for a fish. And it has to be approved as an ESA. And I want a fish really bad. I'm not in the dorms either, but I want a
I will
fish.
help you. I love my fish. And she's in a 10-gallon tank. And it's very intimidating at first because it requires a lot of like testing and stuff like that. But once you got it established, oh man, I'm so here for you, Lauren.
Adopt a pet. Well, okay, so the pets are emotional support animals. So as long you like Ray said, you just have to go through like a therapist or a certified specialist, somebody or other, and go get a signed document that just says that you need this, you need the pet to be on campus with you for like disability reasons, and then the Office of Disability and Accessibility will help you through that, and then that will go through. So I'm not saying you can't, I'm just saying have a bit of a plan. Don't just pop
Yeah.
up with a pet like, hey, it's me and Boo Boo.
You will, like, you do have to do the paperwork beforehand, like bringing them. And I know that if you are caught without one, it's a big deal, like without your
Yes.
paperwork. If you bring them like outside of your dorm, they have to have like a identifying tag. Like people walk their dogs, obviously. They have to have like a certain tag on their collar. So if they see a dog or like anything else without like the tag, they'll stop you and be like, "Where'd you get that?"
And Maryland
Yeah.
does have a leash law, and they
That's
enforce, at least on campus, they have that's very enforced.
Nicole, it depends. Mine wasn't very hard. It took like a month or two, not a month, probably a month, to like have it drafted and sent in and all the paperwork finished. So I guess it just depends on who you're going to for the paper. The pets in the yearbook. Do we have a yearbook?
Wait, what?
Wait, do we have a yearbook? Does Micah have a yearbook?
Okay, we
I
should
don't
start a
think so.
yearbook club. Okay, this is getting out of hand. though.
Oh
We
my
just
goodness.
need to- so
Okay, don't
we
say
need-
that around me. You're looking at the editor of my high school's yearbook club.
And I got a question like earlier about students doing work in their dorms or the studios. So there's studios attached to the dorms. Like underneath, sometimes I think they're in Founders, there's underneath that you can like reserve for a certain amount of time that you can have. And it depends on your major. I know like illustration majors and animation majors, what they're doing is like on their laptop, they can use their little Wacom and sit on their bed and do it. I'm a painting major. I'm holding a pair of pliers, but I'm a painting major. I'm doing all of my work. I'm actually sitting in my studio right now. So it depends on what you're doing. It depends on what you make. But there are studio spaces in every single dorm room, not just Founders. But every dorm building has their own set of like in-building studios that you can go to if you don't already have a studio assigned to you for a class. So it's like a fine arts major. In your junior year, you get a class called Junior Independent. And you come into this building and you get a studio for a semester or two, depending on how many times you take the class. And as a senior, you get a studio sometimes to yourself here for an entire year.
Oh, and I do want to
Right.
throw in
Oh,
real
sorry.
quick that the dorms don't have the Founders Green dorms don't have desks, mostly because of the lot of different things that people will be doing. I'm actually not sure about Meyerhoff, which is I should know because that's where
No, it doesn't. So the purpose
Gateway
of not
does.
having desks on campus is because every student works differently. So
Yeah.
if you are a graphic designer and you need multiple managers, or actually I should say animator, I need multiple managers. Yeah, you should get a big enough desk to set that up. If you are maybe a graphic designer who doesn't need it and just need a small lightweight desk, then you can have a small lightweight one. I was a fine artist and wanted a giant desk so I can prop up my, my canvases and large pieces of paper on it so I can work. So. Ray, I wanted to ask you, okay, we have a ton of questions, but first, Ray, I wanted to see, are you by any chance set up to maybe show us a little bit of the Lazarus Studio Center?
I'm in my laptop, but I could like pick it up and take you with me if you want.
Could you? Could we spend like 2
Yeah.
minutes doing that? Because I think that would
Yeah.
be really fun. And maybe while you're doing it, we can answer some of these questions. I'm dying to answer the vegetarian vegan one. Lauren, is it okay if I answer that one?
Yeah, I didn't know because I don't know if someone was gonna come in to talk about the food
No
options.
problem. I have so many dietary restrictions. Oh, wait, how do we make Ray bigger? I think Ray has to talk.
Whoa.
Oh,
Hey, your
Okay.
art is kind of
Spotlight for
cool.
everyone. Done.
woo, this is what I'm working on. This is what I've been working on. I'm making a lampshade, beaded lampshade. This is like my desk. It's messy. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to show you guys. And then, so this is a big hallway and it's dark because it's late and it's a Thursday. But these are different people's studios. It goes all the way down, all the way around. There's a swap shop where people drop off supplies and it's pretty empty right now since it's the middle of the semester. Okay, I'm not gonna go too far, but this is like our common area.
Ooh,
And there's art on the walls
yeah.
with everybody in there. And there's people out, so I'm gonna run back into the studio. But there's like, I want to say there's like 200 people here at some point. Like, and we're all here on Mondays. because junior independent and senior thesis happen at the same time on Mondays so that the juniors and the seniors can like talk to each other and collaborate. It's very fun. Get to see a lot of your friends
You
throughout the day.
sleep in your studio, Nicole.
I would
No.
not recommend doing it.
No, I know my roommate right now, she's a ceramics major. And she's in her studio going like crazy. And it'll be like 11 and I'm like I feel like an old widow, not widow, but like an old lover, like, when are you coming home? Get back safe. Make sure your location's on. Get the shuttle if you need it. Make sure you call campus safety if you need an escort. But I'm like, don't fall asleep there.
Yeah, and then they said about like getting your own studio or do you rent one out? So it's allotted to you. It's not any extra like on your tuition. There's no extra fees or anything. And you can either have like a double studio or a single studio as a senior, and as a junior you have like a shared partner. I have a shared partner anyway because I like hanging out with people. But don't sleep in your studios. It's not any extra money. Cool.
Oh, you're
I'm
muted.
muted. Sorry. I need to answer that vegetarian vegan option question. So yes, there are actually Cafe Doris especially is increasing that menu. I have a lot of allergies. I have a gluten-free and egg-free diet. So it's very specific. And Corey, who is the head of our like the liaison between our all campus catering company as well as MICA, if you speak to them about your needs and talk to them more about it, they can tell you exactly what you can have and cannot have. There are also charts that identify what, based on like your dietary restrictions, what you can have and cannot have. And Corey is on campus all day, every day during the week, so you can always ask him there as well. Okay. Ooh, guys, good tea cafe. You guys go to Bun Shop?
Bun Shop, HHT. HH is boba. And there's
Okay,
also
HH. Now listen, I'm gonna get controversial. HH kind of fell off. They need to step up their game. Because I went to HH asking for boba, and they're like, sorry, we don't have any boba right now. And I was like, okay, mind you, it was 6 p.m. and they close at 8. And I was like, okay, well, I mean, like I can wait. I was just walking in town. And I was like, I can wait. And they were like, no, we just don't have any boba at all. And I was like, it's 6 p.m. in the middle of the week. Where's the boba?
Write
And
a
this
bad
happened
review.
twice.
They'll fix it tomorrow.
Mhm.
Um, all right. We have a question about how safe do you feel in campus and surroundings? I guess
I
surrounding
think,
areas.
oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I feel pretty safe. I'm not on campus right now, but I'm very close. Like I'm basically on campus. I'm in I'm still on Park Avenue and I'm literally in an apartment right between Founders and Meyerhoff. And campus safety literally will park right outside my apartment and I'll know because I'll see like their like car light. Like they have like the siren lights, but instead of, the red and blue of like the police, it'll be like a orange or like a yellow outside, and I'll just see it outside my window and I'll be like, oh, cool, campus safety is right here. And the other night I was working really late in the graphic design building, like really late. I should have had my assignment done earlier, but that was just me. And it was like 1 a.m. and I was like, yeah, I don't like I didn't not that I don't feel comfortable walking home. I was just being lazy. I was very tired. So I just went down to the security guard desk. Every building has a security desk with a guard posted there. You need your ID to get into pretty much every building. Anyone can get into like the lobby area of a building, but to go past anywhere, you have to at least interact with the guard at some point, either to scan in or to
You get
sign
a
in somebody
handy dandy
know.
one of these.
Oh, I was gonna show.
And
Oh, I
it
can
and
show
it
mine
beeps
here. What
in.
color is it?
My picture's ugly, don't look at it. But yeah, so this so like and it has like limited access as well, which is like a big security thing. So you can't get into a building you don't have any business in, if that makes sense. So I live off campus. It's my little O. But a
Oh, wait,
gateway.
I'm gonna get mine because now you're making me like I want to be.
Gateway is a residential building past the third floor. So I can't get into the third floor Gateway building because what am I doing there? I'd always have a friend come and let me up. But if I'm going into like a design building or like going into equipment that I have no training on behind a locked door, I can't get in there, which is like a safety thing and it's also like a respect thing. So someone like the illustration labs have like codes on their door just because those are for those people and a lot of those things are physical. So you want to make sure that all of your stuff is safe. And I've never felt particularly unsafe walking around campus in particular. It's really well lit and there's always security guards around. And if it's late and you're worried, there's a shuttle always.
Mhm. And I was gonna say something and I totally forgot. But yeah, there's like a lot of the buildings have codes on like classroom doors. I said there's guards everywhere. Yeah. And then, you can always go to campus safety. Like, they also have like the physical building and the health and wellness center. Um, but also it's kind of, I don't know, we're a pretty smallish campus too. So everyone kind of like, I don't know, I feel like I not know everyone, but I can recognize pretty much everyone's face. We have like two like kids schools kind of close to here too. And then like the actual police, since we're still kind of in the city, the actual police, patrol every once in a while too. So you'll see them around. Um, yeah, it stays pretty safe.
I do want to speak about on that because as someone who grew up in a I don't know nearby, but in the suburbs where my high school was built on a cornfield, and was never really exposed to city life. It's different, right? But it's also what you expect. So if you like have ever visited New York City or LA or something like that, we are a much smaller version of that. Okay. So a city life is a city life, a county life, the suburban life is a suburban life. So what I like to tell all of my students is that like just be more aware of your surroundings, right? That is just a life skill and a life like habit that I want everyone to have is in like, hey, don't walk around with your really nice headphones that cancel out noise with your, excuse me, brand new cell phone. Like, oh, hey, here's this like $1,000 piece of equipment and I can't hear you coming. Like that's just like, that's bad. That's just not good. So there's things like that, like fix those types of habits. I think that it's, important to be aware of your surroundings, not because you're looking for something bad to happen. I've had a great experience living in the city. Yeah, I have some friends in my long time living in the city have like something stolen or something, but then I'm like, hey, look, where did you keep it? What were you doing? Like, like just saying. We'll leave it at that. I think I saw someone recommending Korean food. I am Korean and I'm very picky. And I was very spoiled because my mom is like the best cook. They're 30 minutes away from campus. And H Mart shuttle, right, guys?
Oh,
H Mart
yes.
shuttle.
Yes.
Oh my
Okay, so
goodness.
there's a Korean grocery store. It's also an international grocery store, but mostly Korean grocery store. And is it every week?
It's every other week.
It's other
So
weekend.
one.
It switches with Target.
Y'all talk about it. I don't know
Oh.
it.
I actually have taken the shuttle because I don't wake up early enough.
Okay.
So
That's
from like
something.
On a
I think it
Saturday.
starts at like noon or like from 10 to 1.
Mhm.
It's something really early, 9 to 1 or something. A shuttle will come
long
in front of
time.
Founders. It is a long time. A shuttle will come in front of Founders, pick you up, and shuttle you to Target, and it'll just run on a continuous loop between those hours. So you could drop off and get on once you're done shopping, and it switches every other weekend. H Mart Target, H Mart Target. And the H Mart one's pretty popular, so I usually get there early if I
Yes.
ever do it. Yeah.
a lot of people are fiending for the H Mart shuttle. Like you'll have people waiting, and I'll be like driving by, and I'll be like, "What's everybody waiting for?" And it's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
there's a crowd. It pulls a crowd.
For good reason. Also in the H Mart area, there are a ton, like they officially called it Ellicott City. They call it Koreatown. So it's like a mini little Korean town with like Korean bakeries, little cafes, like really fun places and such good food. So if you want to do that, go. Also, the H Mart cafeteria has some really good food and it's really not expensive.
I have one about MICA's biggest strength and what like majors best known at MICA. And I came here for a graphic design degree. That's what I researched MICA on. I found out that MICA is like one of the top 3 graphic design schools in the country, and I was like, this is exactly what I want to do. And they obviously have the amazing facilities and professors and staff and everything for it, and it's definitely like the joy that I like came here for. But I don't think, other than like the largest majors, which are like animation, illustration, and graphic design, like everybody is really strong. I've never seen like, I love ceramics majors. There's like maybe like a dozen of them, and I think they're the most talented people in the whole world. I'm so serious. The fine arts majors have their own things. Fibers majors put on like a big fashion show at the end of the year. They do it like another big show like for a semester. So
I'm gonna
there's
be
not
a
like,
model in the fashion show.
I modeled for like every single show last year.
Did you
I
do
was on like,
last year's?
I did. I
In
was on the
Flourish?
benefit poster.
Oh
That's
my
me.
goodness. I see, I knew you looked
That's
familiar.
me. But I wouldn't say that MICA has like a weakest. So I think everybody's decently strong. Yeah. There's definitely like, I don't know. There's something there for everybody. And I have no idea about ceramics, but I have so much respect for them.
Honestly, I feel like, yeah, I agree. And I don't know if anyone here is like super worried about like major stuff. And it's like, I have to pick the right one. I have to pick something that I like, but will also get me a job. And um, I'm not gonna say don't worry about that at all. Like, I'm not like, some things are important to think about, but I think that MICA has done such a good job of like balancing, finding a way for everyone to balance all of their things. I think a really intimidating thing about college is like doing one thing for like the rest of your life. And realistically, that doesn't happen. A lot of things that I think MICA does well, one thing I think MICA does well is that like they're gonna teach you're gonna be taught how to do multiple things or how to apply your discipline into other things. So yeah, right now I'm a graphic design major. And my roommate, like I just said, she's a ceramics major, but she's a junior and she was just an illustration major. And a few weeks ago, like earlier, like in January, she was like, I think I want to switch my major. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, I love illustration. But I'm at the end of my ceramics minor and I want to take more ceramics classes. And it won't happen unless I switch my major. And I was like, what do you want to do? And I was like, what do you feel like is best for you? And so she sat with it, she talked to her advisor, and then she switched, and then she came back and she said, I switched my major. And I teared up. I was like, this is beautiful for you. And in true transfer student, indecisive person fashion, I was like, wow, this was beautiful. So I think that's what one of MICA's biggest strength is like, you don't have to just feel like you have to do one thing because realistically, everyone has multiple hobbies.
There's like multiple like transportation questions. So I'm gonna try and answer them in like a single swoop. Transportation at MICA is the circulator shuttle if you want to go from like MICA building to MICA building. But outside of that, we're like a 2-minute walk from the nearest light rail station. And that will take you to Lake Roland, as we've been discussing. It'll take you to the BWI airport. It'll take you to another train station. It'll take you to DC. It'll take you to New York. It'll take you down. I take it to go home sometimes. I think it goes all the way down to like Norfolk. I don't even know where Norfolk is. And it goes like all the way up to like Pennsylvania and stuff. I know
You're
people
talking about the
take it
MARC
home.
train?
Yeah, Amtrak MARC train.
Mhm.
I think it does go to North Carolina as well, like the edges of North Carolina. And then you can like obviously transfer. And skateboard on campus, yes, people have lots of skateboards, bikes. I have an electric scooter that you can see me flying around campus on
I want
regularly.
one. I'm
It's really
jealous. I
fun.
want a
It's really
scooter.
fun.
Wait. Skateboard park, Hamden.
Oh yeah, there's a big skateboard park in Hamden, and it
Wait,
also
I
is
know that.
like doubles as a music venue. So like punk music, like
What?
people, yeah, have you never, they have like punk music night on like,
I'm so
I
out of
can't remember.
touch.
Yeah, yeah. They have music night there too. It's a big community. And they like people will skateboard on like the one of the monuments nearby. But you can see them like get their little headphones and their speakers and their big cameras. Now, I don't know if you're allowed to. I'm not gonna tattle.
That's just an
But there's
observation.
an observation that there is a skateboarding community in MICA.
There's also in the surrounding area, since we're close to, is it, yeah, I think the Johns Hopkins shuttle, someone correct me if I'm wrong. That shuttle is, I think, free. Is it Johns Hopkins or University of Baltimore? I want to say it's Johns Hopkins, but they have like a free shuttle line that can, is that true, Jane? Is that true?
That is for Hopkins students. Our
What?
students
I was
need
told,
this.
I was told it's for everybody. Did they change that?
Okay,
I was
maybe we need to do a fact check on that.
We'll do a fact check
Um,
on that and get back.
Do not quote us on this.
I was told that because one of my classes recently did a field trip to the BMA. Hint, you will literally know the BMA in and out because there's some exhibits that come through and professors love taking us there. I think it was the silver. You know what? There's a shuttle, there's a bus that you can hop on for free.
That's awesome. I hope that's true. I really do. I don't know. I haven't been a
I'm gonna
student
fact
for a
check
long
that
time.
right now.
Fact checking for the purple bus. Love the purple bus. It also
Purple bus,
takes you
it's
from
true.
like, it is true.
Yeah. It's not Johns
Hilarious.
Hopkins? Okay, never
Oh,
mind.
purple bus
I mean,
is
you
a
can
thing?
see like, yeah, the purple bus. It'll like, I don't know its exact route, but it circulates.
Yeah,
Is it
it
the
takes you.
circulator? The Charm City circulator?
Yes, and there's a purple bus.
Okay.
Hmm.
My
We're
bad.
learning so much.
We are. I'm learning a lot.
But also there's like what's it called? Like Midtown and stuff like that. A lot of stuff is also just like walking distance too. You want to get
Mahela,
some
the
fresh
bus
air when
expert.
the sun decides to come out. Mr. Bus Expert.
Wait,
Is there a
someone
beach nearby? I wish.
No.
I have a pond in my backyard. You're more than welcome to go.
Ocean City
No.
is the closest, and it's like 3 hours away, 4 hours away by drive.
For all my
I
Florida
live,
people,
yeah, I live 15 minutes from the beach in Southern Virginia, so that was a big adjustment. I went home for spring break for 2 days and just sat on the sand. It was cold. It was windy. It was
I do
miserable.
go to the beach every year. My husband loves it. I am not a beach person. But I think it's like 2 hours and a half, 2.5 hours or 2 hours and 45 minutes away. It's a fun road trip with your friends. I definitely went with my roommates my junior year, and it was like I drove, and we went in like May when it was like, wait, was it cold? When was it? Did we go in April? I think we went early April, and it was still pretty cold, but it was really fun. So it's not, it depends on where you grew up, like the beach could be close or it could be far.
whatever you consider the beach. It's reminding me
Exactly.
of like Gateway Pool. Like that's reminding me of making your own.
Yeah.
There's a question about living expenses, like tuition, rent, dorms, food, materials, transportation. I can touch on it. I guess we can like jump off on that. But I found it cheaper for me to live off campus. I like with my cat and everything. I live with like a roommate off campus, not too far. But that's how I kind of took down a living expense, was just living on my own. Not that it's less expensive in the long run, not like in the initial like investment. But as a senior, it's just more convenient and it's like nicer to live off campus. And I balance things like tuition and food by having an on-campus job. I work here and I make it work. My parents help me a little bit with like a grocery bill here and there. Materials are hard. I came in with a lot of materials. I went to like a mini arts high school, so I already had the basics, but you slowly accumulate. And if you want anything special, there's art stores nearby. There's like the MICA store, there's Artists and Craftsmen, and there's Blick. Plaza just shut down, so there's Plaza. But there's other places to get materials, and they all price check. So pull up an Amazon listing for it cheaper and put it in their face like, I want it at this price. And there's definitely ways to make it a little easier to live here. Food isn't too bad sometimes. There's Save-A-Lot like right next to, not right next to, it's like a quick walk away from Founders. That's like the cheapest groceries really close. And that's how I managed to feed myself with like a balanced amount of time. And then there's also the meal swipes, which I feel like Jane is dying to talk about.
No, it's not. I was going to talk about the farmers market.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
all year
There's a
round.
farmers
Wait,
market.
is it all year round? I forgot. The
is.
Waverly one is all year round. So there are two local, actually there are more than two, but two main local farmers markets. The closest one is seasonal, but it has local vendors from all over. It's pretty massive, and it's not only like where you can buy produce and flowers and like local meats and things like that. There's a ton of food vendors, so that's a really fun option. If you have a lot of dietary restrictions like me, I like to shop at like Whole Foods because they have my products that I can eat, and that's just a light rail right away. And the light rail is like $1.50 one way, I believe. So it's like a $3 trip. There again, the H Mart shuttles, Target shuttles. So there are different grocery options. And again, there's kitchens in your dorms, so you can cook if you want to. Bake cookies.
Yeah,
if you want
honestly,
to.
I think that the kitchen, oh, amazing. My old college, there was a communal kitchen, and the first like week we had a fire drill because someone didn't know how to make eggs. So having an actual little kitchen is really nice, especially if you have dietary restrictions, or if you just get tired of eating some of the dorm food, a few days in a row, you're like, man, I kind of wish I could just make something else. You can, especially with like the big fridges, store a lot of food, and then a lot of different things, like a lot of different gallery shows and stuff like that. There's even on campus, different events will have refreshments, and that's a good way to get out into the MICA community. Just show up to things, and there's a good chance they might have food.
The dorms are super nice. Kylie just posted that. Like, my previous roommate, Cora, who's also an admissions like person, said that was her reason for coming here. Like, she cooks almost all of her meals for herself, and having a stove and a big fridge and like a sink to do your
An
dishes and
oven.
an oven. Hello.
I was
You
making
can
cookies.
pretty much I've made cookies. But the dorms are really nice. MICA was like my only choice. Not my only choice, but my first choice. And I was pleasantly surprised. I thought I was gonna have to slum it a lot harder than I actually did.
Yeah, you get a lot of breathing space. I know it's a little like not like kind of intimidating for some people who are like, oh, I'm gonna have like a lot of roommates and it'll be terrible. That's not, well, at least what I found. Like I work with Res Life, and that hasn't really been the case, what I found. Um, and when I was living in those dorms, it's not cramped at all. You can bring not whatever you want, but you can get a lot of stuff in there just because, everyone, like not just you, but like your roommates are also art majors. So everyone's coming in with a variety of stuff, different paints, canvases, and like a lot of different things. You get to know your roommates really well when it's like last minute project and you're like, do you have glitter glue? And then they're like, of course I have glitter glue. Like, so, you know, there's enough space for it to be cozy. We have a little living room space. My roommates, one roommate brought a TV. I was like, okay, now we have a little TV.
I was the
Um,
TV roommate. I always
See,
brought the
y'all
TV to
are
the
holding
dorm.
it down. One roommate had a TV and one roommate had a Wii. So we were just playing Wii. And I
A
brought my
Switch. I brought a Switch.
PS4. And then I had another friend who like they were always like they had their own projector. And so like there's enough space for that to be cozy, and like it's partially furnished. So, there's like little couches, a little table, windows so art students can get the sunlight they need.
You can have as many plants as you want, Nicole, as long as you take care of them. And there's like a thing about the meal plan. Freshmen are required to have a meal plan, and that's like, is it 175 meals?
It's the
Which is like
150. I think no, I think it's the one.
150?
Yeah, it's
And that's like,
the
I think that totals out to like 3 meals a week, right?
no, that's more.
Is it more?
It's more. It's the I think I want to say it's 7 because the different
Okay.
plans are, I think it's different plans are 75, 100, 150, and 200. It's like the third biggest meal plan, and I think you get 5 or 7 meals for the week, and then a significant amount of dining dollars. 5, 7, 10, 14. Okay, see, yeah,
Yeah,
one of those. It's definitely enough. You trust me.
you'll
I feel
use
like
them.
you'll use them, but you'll have enough.
Yeah.
And like that's required for all incoming freshmen because we want to make sure y'all eat. Like I said
Please
before
don't
about the
starve.
vegetables, eat. Um, and you'll also accumulate very odd snacks and maybe even develop your own barter system. One of my friends had I knew one freshman, like when I was on campus, went to H Mart or maybe off Amazon, got a huge pallet of ramen noodles. No, I think it was H Mart because it was like actually good noodles. Huge pallet of ramen noodles, and we're selling them. I was like, because the people who couldn't make it to the H Mart from the shuttle, I was like, wait, you're actually thinking we have an entrepreneurship major. That's how you know it's working.
That's hilarious. I love that.
Don't scam, but if you see a need in the community, I don't know, think outside the box.
Normally, like if you're like, oh, can we go to my house? Like a friend be like, oh, like I have extra swipes, just want to use mine so you can like get them out of the way. It's nobody's like by person, nobody's holding on to them for dear life. Like there's definitely enough to go around. And if you run out, you can go to Res Life. You could go somewhere and get like a stamp card for 10. I
Okay, I
forget who
don't think
does
it's Res
that.
Life because I haven't heard that. It might be student
Student
accounts.
engagements, maybe. Oh, it's financial aid. Yeah, you can get like a
Financial
stamp
aid.
card. You can get them like 10 at a time if you run all the way out. And you can
That's
bring stuffed
awesome.
animals.
Yes, bring your stuffed animals.
Bring them. You'll
I
need
would clear
something.
that with your roommates first.
That's
Oh yeah,
true.
creepy
lot.
dolls in the corner. Maybe not
Maybe
for
just keep them in your room or to your side, but
yeah.
run that through the gang first.
All right,
My
so there's
freshman year
some.
roommate and I. Oh, go ahead.
No, go.
I was gonna say my freshman and I roommate and I had one roommate, it's just the two of us in the room. We kind of split it straight down the middle. I know some people do it more communally, depending on if you know
No,
your roommate or
he did
not.
this.
Yeah, but normally it's split like the room is pretty easy to split just straight down the half and you get your half and you get theirs.
Okay,
Monster High dolls. Okay,
wait. Let me
Casper,
say my thing.
drop your favorite, but I'll see it.
Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of great conversations happening, and I love seeing that our admitted students are starting to talk to each other and engage with each other. That's really, really, I don't know, it makes me really happy. I hope you all know that we do have a Discord channel for admitted students. If you're not on it, get on it now. There's a link through your student portal. If you log in, you can join it. So please do join it. But in case, yeah, join the Discord. Yeah, Mihaela is one of the admins. It is very fun. You guys can continue your conversations. If you think you hit it off, there's actually a channel in the Discord. Wait, a channel? Server.
Yeah.
There's a channel in the Discord where you can try to find someone with common interests so you can find a potential roommate ahead of time, which is really fun. So take advantage of that. We have about a little over 10 minutes left, and I want to make sure we get the most out of this program. So if anyone has any very specific, I'm gonna be rude and say slightly more serious questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat and we really want to answer them for you. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna, let these students talk about whatever they want. Not the serious question. All right, this is where we're at, I think. Okay. Oh, I hurt their feet. Guys.
And I don't think you have to confirm your acceptance to join the Discord. Is that true?
You have to be accepted to get a link
Okay.
to it. Oh, Mia.
You log into your MICA app with your MICA username and password. I wouldn't recommend it though.
Okay, if you are having trouble with finding the Discord, can you email admissions@mica.edu and we'll help you navigate that in the morning.
And that students.
Oh my.
I like MICA. I live really close to VCU and like tech, and I could have gone to those schools if I really wanted to. I think it depends on what you want personally out of school in general. I wanted school to be a jumping off point for a better sense of independence, and still be kind of close to where like my family is at. Um, but I wanted to be able to try and form my own life here. And I have successfully done that. I live off campus. I live here and stay here pretty much all time. I have jobs here. I have friends here. I have like family here now. So it's like, it depends if you want to go home and what you want to get out of this. College, especially art school, is a lot about networking. So staying here and being involved with the community is a great way to ensure you have a rooted sense of self here. And I think that that's really important to any sort of artist, like fine artists. I know people now, like personally, from just going to gallery shows and like getting out in the community, like outside of MICA. And that's just part of being here. You have to be here in order to, I don't know, get the most out of it.
Beautiful answer. You said everything I was going to say.
But out of state, in state, it just really was what you want and what you're able to like get out of it.
What help me decide MICA. So like I didn't come from an art background really. I just went to high school in Florida, and then I thought I wanted to be an English major, or like I was a publishing major. And then I literally just took like one web design class, and I was like, this is way more my speed, way more what I enjoy doing. But my school didn't even have a graphic design major, which was a little silly. I didn't think liberal arts schools, a liberal art school wouldn't have a graphic design major. And so I just started looking, and like I said earlier, like MICA was on like very like top list for like graphic design. I was like, wow, this is really cool, but I want to be sure. So like I toured, and I was just really impressed by what I saw. The community here, like I love Baltimore. I hadn't been in Baltimore that long. I would like I'd come through every time I would visit family, but like it was like the touristy parts. So I felt a little bit out of my depth when I saw everyone was like, whoa, everyone's like painting and has colored hair. And I was like, this is crazy. Like, am I gonna fit in? Or like, should I just like stay in my hometown and just, go to like my local like community college or state school? But I really enjoy like graphic design, but I also really just enjoy art in general, I guess. I don't know how to really explain it, but I enjoy the more artistic ways that MICA goes about everything. I wouldn't say it's like a joke at this point, but I feel like that everything is art. Is so like real here at MICA. You're around like-minded people who take the things that you do very seriously, or things that they do very seriously. You don't really get that many like people who are like, oh, I didn't care and this is a joke to me, because I'm not gonna lie, MICA, it's a private institution. It's a bit pricier than probably just going to the community college. So it's like everyone here, or most everyone here, takes their stuff very seriously and is really committed to what they do. And that really brought me here. Like the community really was like, okay, I'm gonna be here. And look, I'm
Speaking
here.
of like community, in terms of like why I didn't choose VCU, not to brag, but I was like applied and accepted. I didn't want to have to do math. That's it.
That's a big one.
I didn't want to have to do any other classes than like my art classes. I wanted to be in like an art focused environment. At VCU, you're going to be taking like a math class with like your physics major, or you're going to be roommated with like an environmental science major. And I just wanted to be in an art community. And if you want to explore and do different like I don't know, if you want to take a math class, and it's also like just a way different school. It's more of like what like regular people college with an art program and not necessarily an art school.
Mm. Yeah, we're a little quirky here.
A little.
A little quirky.
Okay, I saw a really good question that would be really good to end with. Wait. Okay. Great question to end with, okay? Where did it go? Wait, guys, stop typing for a second. Oh no, where did it go? I thought it was really good.
Okay, real
It's by
quick,
Jungwoo.
I'll answer
Go.
this little question where it's like, do you have a community of people outside of MICA? I do. I have some friends at Towson, Morgan State. Like, no one really talks about it, but Baltimore really is a really big college, like, city. A lot of students everywhere. And I met them through Discord. I'm not gonna lie, I'll say it. I met a lot of my friends through Discord, and now we hang out regularly. And they're like, your classes are like 5 hours. How do you do? And I'm like, you have math and science. How do you deal?
Okay, so the great question that I found, which I think I maybe made up in my brain, is basically what made you decide on MICA after everything? I think everyone in the chat is struggling with making their choices, right? They're like, oh, there's so many great schools. How do you pick? How did you guys pick?
I go first, I guess. It was just like the facilities. I think I knew I was going to get the most out of what I was doing here. I I came for a graphic design major, but you don't really do much graphic design your first year. Like you can take intro to graphic design and like graphic design one if you wanted to, but I ended up taking a photo class and I ended up taking a painting class and a drawing class that ultimately helped me switch my major. So it was the opportunity that was like expressed to me the whole time to just change your mind, to do what you want, to be able to do all these different things and it matter. So you can take classes in, if you're a ceramics major, you can take classes in sculpture and it'll matter. Like it won't just be like a throwaway credit you have to like pay all this money to go to school for and it won't matter. And besides the really good dorms and like all of like the distance from my family was really important to me. Um, the culture of Baltimore is really amazing. I wanted to be in a city where I could like leave the school and like get out into the broader community. I really like talking to people. So it was just like there's people here, there's opportunity here, there's facilities here. And I think that's what did it for me.
Yeah, I agree. Like the facilities and the dorms, all very nice. Like a lot of like programs or disciplines that I'm not even a part of, their facilities look really nice too. So it's like I feel like everywhere, all across the board, everything is like, wow, like they're not only are they like keeping up with the students, but making sure that everyone has like the proper equipment stuff seems to work. I feel like you hear a lot of things at our schools like, okay, but like, do you actually have access to these things? And the answer is yes. I was just in the freshman, I think I was like in Leak Hall like a few weeks ago, and people were 3D printing, and I was like, like freshmen have access to the 3D printers. That's so cool. And then yeah, also like Baltimore, I love Baltimore. So I was like, I felt comfortable being here. Um, and I totally had another point, but I completely forgot it. So we'll put a pin in that.
It's getting a little
But
late, it's fair.
yeah.
I would love to share my story, because I haven't talked about myself enough tonight. But my deciding factor was honestly visiting the school. So MICA was my second choice, believe it or not, because I had this unnamed school. All right, unnamed school. I'm not going to mention their name, but I went to go visit and it wasn't what I thought was in my head. Like I just like heard so many things about this school and how cool it is. And let's be real, guys, everyone talks about how awesome they are. Everyone's website makes them look awesome, right? So it's like, how do you make your decision? Honestly, go to the school, go visit, take a tour. If you can't because of financial reasons, I mean, I visited one school, right? Because I couldn't financially afford it either. My mom sent me by myself. That was scary, but I did it. I visited, I checked out the vibe of the campus. I got a feel for the tour guide and things like that. And literally halfway through the tour, I was like, I think I'm ready to go now. This just doesn't feel right. So go to the school, look at the people, be like, oh, can I imagine myself being here? Can I picture myself in this studio space taking a class? Do I want to be these students? All right. So that is the best way to know if the school is going to be a good fit for you. Truly, honestly. I know a lot of people don't, but if you're really torn and you have the means to, come visit us. It's great. Oh, name it, don't be shy. You guys are awful. Okay, I won't be shy. I'm gonna name it. It was SAIC. And for personal reasons, I have nothing against them. Okay. But dude, stop being
Don't
so
worry,
dramatic.
we believe you.
Okay. And the chat's being dramatic. It's actually Michaela.
Chat.
But also, yeah, so I said that. All right. Any last comments, guys, before I say my last statement?
Come to MICA. I don't know. It's kind of cool here. I think when you go to college in general, you realize that like it's very different from like K through 12 or like previous schooling, because college is a lot more like you have to want to be here. And sometimes you're in the middle of critique and it's like you're not getting the feedback you want, and you have to sit there and be like, I paid to be here, I paid to be here. But you gotta like, not say like you gotta really want it, but you gotta like, it's not gonna be like high school where it's just like, okay, you did good enough. And I feel like however much you want to get out of it is what you really gotta put in. So, you gotta bring your effort, start
And
taking it
sorry,
seriously.
go ahead.
No,
I was like, and surround yourself with people who give a darn.
yes.
If you surround yourself with people who just want to go out and party and skip class and not do their homework until the day before, not to say that like your friends make up who you are, but like their habits will rub off on you. Surround yourself with people who want to be here, who want to do the work. And I figured that out a little late, but having like a good community of people around you just to hold you accountable, to be a better person, to have that second look at your art outside of class, like those are the people that kind of keep you on track.
Agreed. I'll be that person.
Thank you.
All right, cool. Okay. Anyway, Michaela, can you answer Sharon's question in the chat? Unfortunately, we've run out of time, but everyone in the audience, just want you to know, please email admissions@mica.edu if you have any questions that want to be answered afterwards. We will be editing and posting this onto YouTube. I forgot to get Lauren's approval, so hopefully Lauren approves. And I want to thank you all.
Chat,
I want to. What?
You said chat, is this real?
Okay. All right. Last statement. Thank you all for joining us today. Obviously, I'm reading off of something because I'm not looking at you guys. Let me fix that. Sorry. Oh, Jane, now it's loading. Anyway, I want to thank you guys all for being here today, joining us, taking time out of your evening. I also really want to invite you all to come visit us. Come visit our campus. It's truly the only way to know if the school's the right fit for you. And we'd love to meet you in person. Stay in touch with your admission counselor. Reach out to us. We have Ray, we have Lauren, they're student employees, so I'm more than happy to connect you with them as well. All right. Goodbye, everybody.